Well, we're getting ready for story time. I'm so excited. This is going to be a very fun day. If you're joining me later on uh, Facebook, because this recording will be kept. Today is Friday the 11th, and so I will be talking a little bit about stuff about today and next week. If you are joining me, if you want to get your egg shaker, or if you don't have an egg shaker from our kits that we gave out at the beginning of the school year, anything would work. If you have a cup that you could put something in, or a jar that you could put, how about an old sippy cup? Maybe your mom has some beans you could put in an old sippy cup. That would make it like an excellent shaker. Or if you don't have something like that, if you have any bells out for the holidays, or if you have a pan you could bang on, that would work too. Because we're going to be using our shakers today. And I got lots of stuff going on. We're going to be doing some singing and some stories, and we're going to wrap up this wonderful week of Super Story Time that was started on Monday by Jennifer. So everybody gets settled in, and we're going to start our story time in just a minute. All right, it is 10:30, so it is time to start. My name is Cindy, and I want to welcome you to our virtual story time here at Carver County Library. We have so much fun presenting our virtual story times, but we miss you all so much in our libraries, and I can hardly wait until I can actually have you here with me. Wouldn't that be fun? But until we can do that, we're going to keep doing stuff online like this. So will you join me in our story time song? Story time, story time. Welcome to our story time. With lots of books and fun for me and you, we will sing and dance too. Can you clap your hands? Clap your hands for story time. Clap your hands for story time. With lots of books and fun for me and you, we will sing and dance too. Very good. I see Brooklyn has joined us. If you type your name in the message, I can see who's here. Let's stand up. Can you stand up and jump? Jump up high for story time. Jump up high for story time. Lots of books and fun for me and you. We will sing and dance too. Very good. Now can you put your arms out and spin in a circle? Spin around for story time. Spin around for story time. With lots of books and fun for me and you, we will sing and dance too. Very good. Oh, thank you for singing with me. All right, I'm going to put my guitar away for a minute. I'm going to have my guitar out a lot this story time. But it is time to call out Blossom. Neva and Jude, can you help me call out Blossom? Call really, really loud. How about you, Caroline? Can you call out too? Let's hear. Say, Blossom, Blossom, come out. Oh, I think she can hear you. Leona's here too. Thank you for calling. Hello, hello, hello. What? They're yelling. What are they yelling? I think they're saying your tail. You forgot your tail, Blossom. Oh, I always forget my tail. It's still in my box. Oh, let's pull it out. All the way. Here it comes. Whoa, there it is. All of Blossom. Welcome to Story Time. Thank you. Welcome all of you to Story Time. We're going to have fun today. Yay! Well, we have to start with our letter of the day. Do you have a letter, Blossom? I do. Let's see. It's over here. Okay, here it is. Ready? Oh! Oh! You're right. That's the letter O. O. Wow, that's like a big circle, isn't it? Yeah. Big circle is the letter O. What does the letter O sound like? Oh, very good. That's one of the sounds. The letter O actually has a couple sounds. Sometimes it's ah or Sometimes it has different sounds. We're going to talk mostly about the O sound today. Let's see. Now, the big letter O is just a big circle, right? Could you draw that with me with your finger? A big circle. You can just keep going around and around and around, right? You only have to go around once, but you can do it as many times as you want. What do you think about the lowercase letter? This is the capital letter. Does the lowercase look the same, or does it look different? What do you think, Maggie? Arthur, do you have any idea? I think it looks the same. I like the letter O because it's Circle City, the capital and the little one. Well, you think so, huh? Let's see. Here's the little O. Can you put that up, Blossom? There we go. Look at that. It's the same. It's a different color. The capital letter O here is blue and the small letter O is red, but they're both circles, right? That's the letter O. Can you think of anything that begins with the letter O? Oh, that's kind of a tough one. Oh, I don't know. Well, I have a song for you that has letter O's in it. You want to go into your box and we can sing a song? Okay. Say, oh, okay. Okay begins with the letter O. Say goodbye to Blossom. Bye-bye. She'll be out again at the end of story time. All right, now we are going to sing a song and look behind the doors to see what begins with the letter O. Now I need your help to pick. Should we look at the green door, the brown door, the red door, or the blue door first? What do you think? If you type it into the comments, we'll do the door you say. What do you think, Carrie? What do you think? And we're going to sing a song. Can you hold your hand up and knock? We're going to go, who is knocking at my door, at my door, at my door? Who is knocking at my door? Which door should we look at? What do you think? I think we should look at the brown door. What's in the brown door? Let's look. What's that? That's an orange. Orange begins with the letter O. Do you like oranges? It's an orange. Very good. Let's try again. Ready? Who is knocking at my door? At my door. At my door. Who is knocking at my door? Caroline thinks we should look at the blue door. Should we look at the blue door? Let's see who's behind the blue door. Oh, it's a silly octopus. An octopus. Can you make your fingers into an octopus? Yes, we could do that. An octopus begins with the letter O. Very good. Let's try it again. Who is knocking at my door? At my door. At my door. Who is knocking at my door? Jude thinks we should look at the green door. Should we look at the green door? Okay, you ready? Who's behind the green door? It's an ostrich. What a great choice. Thank you, Jude. An ostrich begins with the letter O. All right, and Ovi is with us, and Ovi begins with the letter O. Your name does, doesn't it? Who is knocking at my door? At my door, at my door. Who is knocking at my door? There's one more door. What is it? It's the red door. Who's behind the red door? Oh no, it's an onion. Do you like onions? Ooh, I love onions, but sometimes onions can taste really sharp, right? Onions begin with the letter O. Thank you so much for singing with me. All right, now we are going to put away the doors and we are going to go ahead with a story. Now, where should I put the doors? I think I'll put the doors right here. All right, now, our first story is a story that you heard on Monday. All winter long, we have been having fun with our Super Storytime Take and Make kits. And in that Take and Make kit, you got to make mittens and cut out little animals to tell this story yourself. So I thought it would be fun to tell it again and just remind you of the story. It's a Ukrainian folktale called The Mitten. And now it is not very snowy out there. It's not very snowy, is it? It's not even very cold. So I need you to imagine with me, use your brains, and we're going to imagine that it is snowing and snowing. Can you make snow with your fingers? We're going to make it snow and snow and snow. And can you make the wind blow? How about you, Hayden? Let's blow. And we're going to make it really cold. And we're going to pretend that it's a very snowy, cold winter day. And once upon a time, there was a little boy named Nicky. And he asked his grandmother to make him a pair of mittens. He wanted new mittens. And she knew how to knit. And she would knit mittens all the time. She would knit red ones and blue ones and green ones so that they would be bright colored and easy to find in the white, white snow. But Nicky said, no, no, Grandma, I want white mittens. And his grandma, we could call her Bubba, said, I don't want to make you white mittens. You'll lose them in the snow. And Nicky said, no, Grandma, I promise, I will keep track of my mittens if you make me a pair of white mittens. So his Bubba knitted him a pair of mittens. Can you knit with me? Hold 2 sticks and you go like this with yarn. And she knitted a pair of white mittens. Here they are. Bright white mittens. Aren't they pretty? And Nicky said, thank you, Bubba. And he gave her a big hug. Can you blow her a kiss? Mwah, thank you. And he ran out into the snow. Now his Bubba said, Nicky, keep track of your mittens. When you come back, I'm going to check for 2 things. First, I'm going to check and make sure you're okay. Second, I'm going to check and make sure you have both of your mittens. How many mittens? Let's count. 1, 2. 2 mittens. So Nicky said, don't worry. And he ran out into the snow. 5 minutes away from home, guess what happened? One of his mittens fell out of his pocket and landed in the snow. And Nicky didn't even notice. He kept running and running and running and went to see what he could do in the snow. Now, it wasn't long after the mitten fell when a little animal came along, and this was a little tiny mole. He's very little. He's like a little mouse. This one's black, and he's got a little white nose, like a little mouse, but moles are blind. They can't see, but they can smell. And he sniffed out this nice, warm place in the snow, and he said, ooh, I like this. And he crawled into the mitten. And he said, this is the most snug and warm mitten ever. I love this little home I found. Well, just a few minutes later, along came another animal. Who's this? Who's this? Bunny Rabbit. Can you hop like a rabbit? Hop, 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 hop. And the rabbit hopped along, and he too sniffed a nice warm spot. And he said, I want to crawl in there too. And he looked at the mitten, and the little mole looked out. And the little mole said, there's no room. Can you say that with me? There's no room. And the rabbit didn't listen. And he crawled in anyways. Now I have a pillowcase here because I'm going to make my puppets go into it when they crawl into the mitten, because this is not the last puppet that comes along. And so the rabbit started crawling in, and the little mole saw those kickers, and he said, I better make some room. So he made room for the rabbit. and the rabbit crawled in. Now, what do you suppose happened to that mitten when the rabbit crawled into it? Guess what? It got bigger, didn't it? Look at it. It's bigger. It got stretched because of the rabbit. Now, that wasn't the only animal that came along. Pretty soon, along came this guy. Who's this guy? This guy is Hedgehog, and Hedgehog is nice and prickly. Hedgehogs are kind of cool because when they get scared, they can do this. They can curl up into a ball and disappear into their prickles. Isn't that cute? This one's really soft. But real hedgehogs are prickly, and he saw that mitten, and he said, oh, I want to crawl in there too. That looks nice and warm. And the rabbit and the mole said, there's no room. But the hedgehog pushed in anyways. And guess what? They made room for him because he was covered with prickles. So he crawled in too. Guess what happened to that mitten? What do you think? It got bigger. Look at that. It's stretching. Now another animal came along. Oh, guess what? This guy came along. Who's that? The owl swooped down, and he saw the mitten too, and he said, what does an owl say? Whoo, 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 right? He said, that looks very warm in there. I think I will come in. And the mole and the rabbit and the hedgehog all said, there's no room. But the owl crawled in anyway, and he had big talons, so the other animals made room. Well, who do you think is next? Because there's more coming, isn't there? Along came this guy. Who's this guy? This guy's a badger. Look at him. Badgers have sharp teeth and sharp claws, and they dig and dig and dig. And the badger was cold too. And he came along. I forgot to say the mitten grew bigger because it did. And he sniffed into the mitten and he said, that mitten looks really cozy. That looks like a really cozy place to be. I'm coming in too. And the mole and the rabbit and the hedgehog and the owl all said, no, there's no room. But the badger with his claws and his teeth was able to crawl in, right? Guess what happened to the mitten? It stretched bigger. Look at that. That's getting big, isn't it? Along came this guy. Who's this? Who's this guy? A fox came along, and he sniffed at the little burrow where all the animals were hiding, and it felt so warm in there. He said, I'm coming in too. That is a very warm and cozy place. And he crawled right in, and guess what? The other animals all said, what? There's no room. But the fox with his sharp teeth said, there's room for me. And he crawled right in. Guess what happened to that mitten? Guess what? Did it get bigger? I think so. It got much bigger. With all those animals in there, look at that mitten. It's just stretching and stretching and stretching. And that's not even the end of the story. Because along came this guy. Who's this guy? Who's this guy? This guy's Bear. What does Bear say? Rah! Rah! I'm a bear. And he sniffed at the mitten and he saw the animals in there nice and cozy and warm. And he said, I want to come in too. And all the animals said, what? There's no room. But who's going to argue with the bear? And the bear just pushed his way in.
Oh, I can fit. I know I can fit. There we go. Nice and warm.
Now, what do you think happened to that mitten then? It stretched as big as it possibly could. Look at that thing. It's huge. And just then, along came one more animal. Who's this? A mouse. A little mouse. What does a mouse say? Squeak, 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 squeak. And the mouse crawled up and he said, is there room for me? And the animals all said, no. But the mouse crawled onto the bear's nose. And guess what? the bear. Dad tickled his nose, and he started to... Can you all pretend to sneeze with me? Achoo! Now, I'm going to pause this story because you are very smart children, and you know that when you sneeze into your elbow, right? Or into a Kleenex. Well, he's a bear. He doesn't know that. So instead of sneezing into his elbow, he just sneezed. And when he sneezed, the mitten went flying, and all of the animals tumbled out and ran away. Now the mitten went flying through the air, and it landed in the snow right where Nicky was looking, because he was looking frantically for his mitten, because he found out that he had lost it, and he was looking and looking and looking, and he grabbed the mitten, and he ran home, and he got to his house, and his grandma looked at him, and he said, "Are you okay, Nicky?" And Nicky said, "Yep, I'm good. Do you have both your mittens?" And Nicky held up both his mittens. "Oh, something's wrong." Does Nicky even know what happened to his mitten? I don't think so. And that is the story of the mitten. Was that a fun story? Now you can read that story because it's in books. It's a folk tale, but it is published in books, and one of the books is The Mitten by Jan Brett. But there's other versions of it too. Now I want to sing a song for you. I have another story. And this one is a Yiddish folk song, and we are going to sing it together. So this is where I want you to get out your shakers. Get out your shakers and prepare to dance around, all right? So we are going to start. There was a little boy who had a coat, a big coat. We're going to call it an overcoat, which begins with the letter O. And here's how the song goes. Let me put my capo on. That's a capo. It makes the tune get a little higher, easier to sing sometimes. And it goes like this. I had a little overcoat as old as could be. Can you sing that with me? So we're singing about the overcoat, and it's really old because I've worn it a long time, and now it's getting ragged. I had a little overcoat as old as could be. Now here's where you have your shaker, because we're going to sing tra-la-la-la-la-la-la-la-la-la. You can shake when you sing, okay? Can you sing and shake? And you can dance too. Tra-la-la-la-la-la-la-la, tra-la-la. And what I'd ever do with it, I just could not see. Shake your shaker. Tra-la-la-la-la-la-la-la, tra-la-la. Now you have to put on your thinking caps, because this little boy doesn't know what he's going to do with his overcoat, right? So I thought a little while, made myself a... What's he going to make? This whole song, he makes new things. So he cuts it down, and he makes a jacket. Made myself a jacket in the very latest style. Now shake your shakers. Tra-la-la-la-la-la-la, tra-la-la-la-la-la-la. Made a jacket in the very latest style. Guess what? The jacket got old too. Now what's he gonna do? I had a little jacket as old as could be. Tra-la-la-la-la-la-la-la, tra-la-la. And what I'd ever do with it, I just could not see. Tra-la-la-la-la-la-la-la, tra-la-la. Get your thinking caps on. So I thought a little while, made myself a... What's he gonna make? Let's see. What can you make out of a jacket that's smaller? A vest. Look at that. He took the sleeves off, and he made it a little smaller, and he made a vest. Made myself a vest in the very latest style. Now dance around with your shaker. Ready? Tra-la-la-la-la-la-la, tra-la-la-la-la-la-la. Made a vest in the very latest style. Uh-oh, after time, the vest grew very old and ragged. I had a little vest as old as could be. Tra-la-la-la-la-la-la-la, tra-la-la. And what I'd ever do with it, I just could not see. Tra-la-la-la-la-la-la-la, tra-la-la. So I thought a little while, made myself, what's he gonna make out of the vest? It's gotta be smaller, right? What does he make? He makes a tie. Have you ever seen people wear ties, or have you ever worn a tie? When you dress up, sometimes people wear ties. Made myself a tie in the very latest style. Dance around. Tra-la-la-la-la-la-la, tra-la-la-la-la-la-la. Made a tie in the very latest style. Guess what? He wore his tie a lot, and that grew old too. What's he gonna do next? I had a little tie as old as could be. Tra-la-la-la-la-la-la-la, tra-la-la. And what I'd ever do with it, I just could not see. Tra-la-la-la-la-la-la, tra-la-la. So I thought a little while, made myself, what's he gonna make out of the tie? Do you know? Well, I made a handkerchief. Look at that. It's smaller, and you can use it when you're camping or as a mask. A lot of people wear them as masks these days. Made myself a handkerchief in the very latest style. Tra-la-la-la-la-la-la, tra-la-la-la-la-la-la. Made a handkerchief in the very latest style. Actually, that really is a very latest style, isn't it? Because people are wearing masks everywhere, aren't they? I have a mask. Susie has a mask. We all have masks, don't we? What's he going to do when his handkerchief grows old? Let's see. I had a little handkerchief as old as could be. Tra-la-la-la-la-la-la, tra-la-la. And what I'd ever do with it, I just could not see. Tra-la-la-la-la-la-la, tra-la-la. So I thought a little while, made myself, what can you make out of a handkerchief when it gets ragged? Do you know what he made? He made a button, just a little button to put on his clothes. Made myself a button in the very latest style. Tra-la-la-la-la-la-la, tra-la-la-la-la-la-la. Made a button in the very latest style. Oh, we're running out of material here, aren't we? What's gonna happen next? I had a little button. I'm giving you a hint. This is the last verse, so get ready to dance. I had a little button as old as could be. Tra-la-la-la-la-la-la-la, tra-la-la. And what I'd ever do with it, I just could not see. Tra-la-la-la-la-la-la, tra-la-la. So I thought a little while. Do you know what he made out of all of these things together? Made myself a song that I'm singing right now in the very latest style. Tra-la-la-la-la-la-la, tra-la-la-la-la-la-la, made a song in the very latest style. Well, thank you so much for singing and dancing with me. And that is an old Yiddish folk song, but you can read that in a story too. I have the book one of the books that was made with that song right here. You can check out these books at the library. And this one actually has the song in the back, so you can sing it too. So this is Joseph Had a Little Overcoat. So those are great folk songs and stories, and I am so glad you came with me to this story time. Let's call out Blossom. Are you ready? Say, Blossom, come out. Let's call her out. Here she comes. Blossom, hello, hello, hello. Oh, her tail came out this time. Awesome. Well, I want to say goodbye to everyone, and you have a great week. And I hope you have, we're going to have one more week of story time, and then we're going to take a break for a couple weeks. We are having some special holiday programs. Did you know about that, Blossom? Yes! We're having a puppet show. A puppet show. We're going to put it on Facebook on the 29th of December, which is after Christmas, before the New Year's. We're going to have this puppet show at 10:30 on Tuesday. It's not Jack and the Beanstalk. It's going to be something else. Ooh, it's going to be fun. We also have Cuckoo Kangaroo on New Year's Eve day at noon. So tune in for that as well. We got some fun stuff over the holidays. One more week of story time. All right, get into your boxes. Get into your boxes. Ready? Jack in the box, so quiet and still. Will you come out? Yes, I will. Thank you for coming. Bye-bye.